Christmas messages of hope for Barbadians. The Barbadian tradition of Christmas morning in Queen's Park continues. And coming up in sports, the Hurricanes beat the Stars in the latest Big Bash League match.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Merry Christmas, folks. I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. Barbadians are being told not to be fearful of the impact of government's Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program, as it offers bright prospects for the country's future. Word of this from Governor General Dame Sandra Mason as she delivered her Christmas message. In her message of hope, Dame Sandra also encouraged Barbadians to support each other.
This is not the time to despair because of the challenges which we are facing. We must make opportunities out of the apparent threats. In government, we have to carry out various reforms in order to restructure and streamline our operations and resource capabilities. These are needed now more than ever. In all of the necessary changes and the resultant impact, I implore you to never lose sight of the personal touch or of the love for our neighbor as Jesus would have expounded in his ministry on this earth.
Well, Prime Minister Mia Motley says the sacrifices made by retrenched workers this year will not be in vain. During her Christmas message, she says government will create a framework to assist those affected.
It may seem to you now that there is no light at the end of the tunnel, but I give you my assurance that your sacrifices shall not be in vain, and our country shall forever owe you a debt of gratitude. I want you to make use of the opportunities that have been offered to you, whether it is retraining for new job prospects, or starting your own businesses, or even accessing land, because we are going to make sure that we create a framework in which you can support yourselves and your families.
Prime Minister Motley also made mention of the Gathering 2020, a forum which will allow Barbadians abroad to return home to help refine vision for the country.
We believe that this is an opportunity for all Barbadians, parish by parish, to be able to come home and to be able to embrace their roots, but at the same time to help us refine a more perfect vision for the Barbados that we want for ourselves and our children and our grandchildren.
Barbadians need to have more care and compassion for their fellow man as the country goes through these trying times. Word of this from opposition leader Bishop Joseph Atherley. Delivering his maiden Christmas message as opposition leader, Bishop Atherley notes that the birth of Christ symbolizes a measure of hope.
Christmas is heaven's response to humanity's varied and total need. The peace proffered is the divine alternative to conflict. The goodwill promise is the assurance of the well-being possible, no matter what the circumstance of mankind universally or his individual situation. To actualize that which heaven offers and to access its benefits, it is incumbent on each of us to care meaningfully for our fellow man.
An Anglican cleric who also works as a magistrate is reminding Barbadians of the need to refute negativity and allow the light of Christmas to be part of their daily living and sharing. Magistrate Father Gravely Bannister made the plea while addressing congregants in the Church of St. Peter during its celebration of Midnight Mass.
Every Sunday it seems that someone is killed by the hand of some gunman. We need peace in our streets. We need peace in our island home. Rapidly, we are becoming prisoners in our own homes. The gloom of recession darkens our spirits. The joblessness and hunger stalk some of our populace. Amidst of this darkness, we hear that there is light and there is hope.
Although a religious festival, the tradition of attending Midnight Mass has become enshrined in Barbadian culture. CBC News spoke to a number of worshippers who shared the significance of this to their Christmas celebration.
This is my preferred service. It is when I meet most of my old friends, and this is a customary thing for us, where we attend and then we spend a little time after the service.
Christmas is that time where you feel home, you're celebrating the birth of Christ. And as you settle down for the whole year, is that point where you pause and say, let's give thanks.
Strolling through Queen's Park, all dressed up on Christmas morning, is a Barbadian tradition enjoyed by many people. Lisa Broom went among them today and filed this report.
These dancing twins, Leah and Zoe Paul, set the tone for the 2018 edition of Christmas in the Park. These guys are always dressed to the nines, with people clamoring to take pictures of them and some wanting to take pictures with them. Spokesman Big Red says while looking good is a priority for them on Christmas morning, they're also hoping to send a message through their attire.
They need to get them back to church too and to dress properly. That's how we know Barbados was before, and we are trying hard with the youngsters.
The park is also a hit with families, whether they're coordinated outfits like the Goslings or were visiting from overseas and have made the park a tradition, like the Philippines from Canada.
We love to look at people in their lovely Christmas clothing, and it's just fun.
They seem very proud of their traditions, proud to show off their clothes. It's just an experience you don't get in some larger places a lot of the time.
Pamela, also known as Dark Sugar, came to the park to celebrate her birthday, while 94-year-old Paul Greenidge brought his entire family, who are in Barbados, to celebrate his milestone. They were all serenaded by the Royal Barbados Police Force Band, celebrating its 111th year in the park. But whatever the reason they were there was one clear message.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Faith must remain the cornerstone of humanity. This was the main point made by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II during her annual Christmas message.
Human beings have a huge propensity for good, and yet a capacity for evil. Even the power of faith, which frequently inspires great generosity and self-sacrifice, can fall victim to tribalism. But through the many changes I have seen over the years, faith, family, and friendship have been not only a constant for me, but a source of personal comfort and reassurance.
Residents in several districts are having to spend Christmas without running water. According to the Barbados Water Authority, it's experiencing outages in areas fed from the Lodge Hill and Ashton Hall reservoirs. The communities affected stretch from Lodge Hill to Warrens in St. Michael, Husbands to Holders in St. James, and Bagatelle to Redmond's Village in St. Thomas, as well as from Ashton Hall to the Rock in St. Peter. The BWA says crews are in the field at present investigating the issues at both reservoirs and will carry out the necessary repairs. The authority apologizes for the inconvenience caused.